Hi, this is Cath from Seeking Health, and over the past few weeks I've spoken to you about creating your own nutritional plan using the foundation of a whole plant-based high raw diet. People tend to accept the whole foods part quite easily, but they often question the plant-based and the raw parts. So today I'd like to talk some more about why plant-based, and another day I'll talk some more about why raw. But today I'd really like to explore in quite depth why it is I'm saying that you need to eat a plant-based diet. And first of all, when I say plant-based, I'm meaning vegan. So that means no meat, including fish and chicken, no dairy and no eggs. And I guess in our society and culture that can seem a bit extreme, because humans are most often described as omnivores, and this classification is based on the observation that humans generally eat a wide variety of plant and animal foods. But culture, custom and conditioning are important variables when you base your judgment solely on observation, and you can see this when you look at the very different diets consumed by different cultures. So observation is not the best technique to use when you're trying to identify the most natural and the optimal diet for humans. And while most humans are clearly behavioural omnivores, the question still remains as to whether humans are anatomically suited for a diet that includes animal as well as plant foods. A better and more objective test is to look at human anatomy and physiology. Mammals are anatomically and physiologically adapted to consume particular kinds of diets. So it's common practice when anthropologists examine fossils of extinct mammals to examine the anatomical features to deduce the animal's probable diet. And we can look at mammalian carnivores, herbivores and omnivores to see which anatomical and physiological features are associated with each kind of diet. And then we can look at human anatomy and physiology to see which group we belong to. An animal which captures, kills and eats prey has to have the physical equipment which makes predation practical and efficient. So carnivores have claws and long sharp teeth on the end of a long snout for ripping and tearing hide and flesh, and their mouth opens really wide in relation to the size of their head, and that allows them to latch on to a big beast of prey and bring it down. But their incisors, that's the ones at the front, are actually quite small in comparison to, for instance, their canines, which are very long, curved and sharp. Their molars, the back teeth, are sharp and jagged because carnivores don't chew their food. They tend to tear off chunks and just swallow the chunks. Herbivores don't have claws and their mouths are quite small in relation to the size of their head. Their incisors, the front teeth, are quite large and flattened, sort of spade-shaped. The canines are quite a bit smaller usually than the incisors, and they're kind of dull and short. Some herbivores do have quite long canines like the primates, and that's thought to be for defense rather than for their diet. Herbivores' molars aren't pointed, they're kind of flat with nodules for grinding. Herbivores also have jaws that with the ability to move sideways like that also aids in chewing up food. And carnivores and omnivores have very little sideways jaw movement. And another thing with herbivores, I suppose it's not really related to our diet, but herbivores have pores in their skin that they perspire through, whereas carnivores perspire through their tongue, and that's how they tend to cool down their bodies. Carnivores have developed a very acid saliva in their mouth with no enzymes for digestion, whereas herbivores have very alkaline saliva, and we have got enzymes like amylase to help us digest fruits and starches. Carnivores have very strong hydrochloric stomach acid to digest the flesh that they eat. It's a pH of about 1, whereas herbivores have evolved stomach acid which is about 20 times weaker than the carnivores. So a herbivore's stomach acid is a pH of around 4 to 5. Carnivores have evolved quite a short digestive tract to pass the material through quickly so that they don't absorb too many fats. And for instance, their digestive tract is about 3 to 6 times their body length, whereas herbivores have evolved a very long digestive tract in order to aid in extracting the nutrition from plants. So a herbivore's digestive tract is about 10 to 12 times their body length. And omnivores like bears, raccoons and dogs combine some features of both herbivores and carnivores, but their anatomy is still quite carnivorous. So for example, their jaw movement is still shearing up and down with no kind of side movement. Their mouth also opens really wide. They've got the short incisors and the long curved canines. They don't have any digestive enzymes in their mouth. Their stomach acid is also a 1, which is strongly acidic, and their digestive tract is 4 to 6 times their body length, and they also have claws. So they've got all of the equipment that they need to be able to hunt down and eat animals. So now if we look at human anatomy and see how the human has evolved, humans have no claws. Our incisors, our front teeth, are quite large. They're broad, flattened, and they're sort of spade-shaped. Our canines, these ones here, are small and blunt compared to our incisors, and our molars are flat with nodules for chewing. Our jaws move sideways for grinding and chewing our food. We've got pores in our skin that we perspire through to cool ourselves, and our stomach acid has evolved to be about 4 to 5 pH, so it's quite a weak stomach acid. We've got alkaline saliva with amylase enzymes for digesting fruits and starches, and we have a very long digestive tract which is about 11 times our body length. So when you examine how human anatomy has evolved, it does look like we're herbivores. And also when you look at our reaction to animal foods, that kind of reinforces it. So people will generally become ill if they eat uncooked flesh, like a wild carnivore does. You know, wild carnivores don't cook their meat, they eat it raw. And we don't have the stomach enzymes that kill harmful bacteria and parasites that carnivores do, so we tend to get quite ill if we eat uncooked meat. Also, all carnivores produce enzymes that neutralize the uric acid in their diet, because meat is very high in uric acid, but humans don't produce any enzymes to do that. So when a human eats a diet that's very high in animal products, they tend to suffer from a number of health problems associated with that uric acid. So they'll get things like gout, kidney stones, kidney failure, arthritis, certain cancers, and cardiovascular disease. So humans don't digest animal proteins well, and animal-based foods cause a lot of health problems for us over time. So as well as the problems that we can observe associated with eating a diet that's got lots of meat in it, we can also look at the other side of the coin, that because humans are anatomical herbivores, that we really thrive on plant proteins. So if you notice, most of the health spas and healing centres around the world use a vegan diet, and they very successfully help thousands of people to heal with plant-based diets. And I've seen it for myself with my clients and with myself, that when we give our body the right fuel, it heals. So those are the biggest reasons that I'm very convinced that plant-based diets, vegan diets, are the way to optimal health. And if you have any questions about that, or want to know some more, you can go and visit my website, or you can give me a call or an email, and I'd love to talk with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.